Beds, and I picked Mike Barnicle's, which is in the Huffington Post. And Barnicle, this is a real slam at McCain, but I'd like to ask the guys what they think about it. I'll read your words here. McCain at Sunset. It's a sad story. A proud and independent man permits a handful of advisors to take his hard-earned reputation and alter it to such an extent that the original is now hard to recognize, nearly invisible behind a curtain of cynical ads and the preposterous pronouncements of a woman whose candidacy is an insult to intelligence. That's rough stuff. That's talk about how the campaign maybe has taken over John McCain's message and even what he's all about. Mark Halperin, what do you think? Fair?
I think that there's going to be, if he does lose, I think there's going to be a lot of people who look at him and wonder how he's going to handle it, particularly based on the way he tried to win at the end. It is so reminiscent of Bob Dole and what Bob Dole did in 1996. Sometimes it scares me how similar it is.
Wow. All right, Joe, I want to read a little bit more from Barnicle's, and then we'll get the other another angle on McCain, a little bit more positive from Krauthammer. But Barnicle's McCain at Sunset from the Huffington Post. Unfortunately for McCain, he did little to stop the thieves who took his honor and reputation and tossed it out like so many discarded items for a yard sale, figuring that Americans could once again, one more time, be fooled into voting their fears. But what they really did was take the one Republican who may have had a legitimate shot at surviving the disaster that has been the Bush administration and strip him of the basic appeal he once had for people looking for someone who could lead.
Yeah, well, if I voted my fears right now, it would be fear of freezing to death. And if somebody could have promised me warmth, a little warmth.
Joe, the campaign, a lot of people are saying maybe have botched this at this point.
I've heard this. And you hear it time and time again. In the end, though, and I'm sure, Mike, you'd agree with me, in the end, the buck stops with the candidate. It's not like they implanted a chip in his brain. This guy decided he was going to win any way he could win. I personally, I think Mike and I disagree a good bit on many things, from Sarah Palin to the campaign they've run. But at the same time, Mike, you know, a lot of times people blame their staffers after they lose. Every decision has been John McCain's decision ultimately to make.
There's no doubt, and I think, you know, if they do lose, I think John McCain is the kind of man, he's not going to blame the staffers. And you're absolutely right, and Mark Halperin knows this. Even Dylan knows this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah, you know, but every campaign,
you're going to be tasty around me.
Every campaign at some level is a mirror reflection of the candidate himself or herself.
Organizations, it doesn't matter how small or large they are, organizations reflect their leader.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and you know, Mike talks about also in the piece how people are just worried about something else right now, that they've misstepped a little bit. People are worried about their 401ks. They're not thinking about some of these things.
Hey, Willie, let's bring in Chrystia Freeland.
All right, Chrystia.